Let's start with this message today. This is a very important message for every kind of family. When I say every kind of family, it might be a single parent. It might be a blended family where two families that had a situation before came together for start over. And it might be a normal family, a traditional family. So all the families will be blessed if you hear this and you pay attention to this today. So I'm going to talk about a family with purpose. Today is a family with purpose. And everybody is like, what is purpose, Pastor? Well, I think purpose is like the big why of your life. I mean, why are you here on earth for? Why is your family here on earth for? So this is why finding purpose for you and for your family is very important. You can grab some principles from this message for you and you can apply them to your family, all right? So why is important? Because culture and media are trying to shape, your purpose. They're trying to give you and tell you what you should be. Everywhere you can find assertions, you can find philosophies, you can find belief systems that will try to tell you what to be. But we're trying, to be what the Bible says that we ought to be. So there's too many voices today, too much noise. And with so much noise, it's very difficult to stay in course. So that's why I decided to speak today about a family with purpose, and in reality, the purpose reflects what is more important for you. Your purpose reflects what are you passionate about. Your purpose reflects, a scale, a core value system in your life, which is so important. So purpose is necessary because purpose gives you identity as a family, as a believer, as a son of God and daughter of God. So why is so important? Because if you have a purpose in God, if you find a purpose for your family and in your family, if you have that purpose, you will be the example for your generation, not the warning. Do you know some friends of yours that are the warning to the generation and not the example to follow for the generation? That's why it's very important to do this. And we need to find it. We need to have a vision, and we need to be dependent on God, have priorities in life, and we need to have family values. And all this might sound a little bit boring, but let me tell you, it's so important, because if not, you will not have direction. You will not know where to go. So let's begin today with this. Our church has a proposition regarding this. Our church, if you have never been on the discipleship 101, the training, the beginner's training, basic or elementary training, here at church, you need to do it, because you will learn things so valuable for your life. First of them, raise your right hand like this. Your right hand. Okay, so we base the church philosophy and proposition like this. We as a church, we have a vision. Okay, I want you to try to pick up something without this finger. From the table, your phone, it might be an envelope, whatever, a pen. A pen is a very good thing to try to grab without the, okay, now manipulate it. Use it. Use your phone without this. You see how important it is? That's why we represented in the training the church philosophy having a hand And the main thing is having a vision. The main thing after that is having, do like this, like, is having a mission. You know, the mission is how will you do that? How will you accomplish that? So, and there is the third thing, you know, that we have, and is the value system, our core values. The church has a system of values. And we decided to pick up 10. We could pick up 20, 30, but then it dilutes us. So we picked the 10 more important for us. And we have a value system. And then we have our purposes as a church. And the last one is the little meñique. And this is for our, how you call it? Pinky promise. Okay, so we have these 5 things, and we're going to grab some of them from the church value system to incorporate it into my life and my family. If you haven't done so, this will be enlightened to you because you will find that it's needed. The first thing we need to do is that we need to find our family purpose. The second thing is that we need to write it down. And that, you know what? I get people inspired with this, and people like it, and people like, oh my God, yeah, I want to have a vision. I want to have my mission statement, and I would like to set my core value system because, you know, it's important in my life. And then they forget. They don't write it down. So my challenge to you today is to write it down. What is the vision for your family? What is the mission and your core values? What do you value the most in your family? What is that list? And then we're going to try to, live the purpose. So we'll find the purpose, write it, and live the purpose. This is my proposition today. So how can we do this? Well, we need to begin with vision. This is the more important thing. Find a person that's not propelled, that is not, that lacks of passion, a person that doesn't have motivation and doesn't know what to do, doesn't want to wake up in the morning. It looks kind of like a depression thing, but I believe most of the time this is lack of vision. Find somebody with no motivation, that person doesn't have a vision for what she's doing. But if we have vision, we're motivated by it. Passion is the fuel of the vision, And Proverbs chapter 29 on the Common English Bible says like this: when there's no vision, the people get out of control. But whoever obeys instruction is happy. Prophesy over somebody beside you and say, you will be happy. Because if we have vision and we obey the vision, we will be happy. Now, many people say, Pastor, I'm trying to be happy. I don't know how to. Well, everything begins trying to find your purpose. And to find your purpose, you need to have a vision, a mission, and a core set of values. I would like for 2 men to come if you both come. This is why it's important. Let me tell you. Okay, let's say you are part of my value system, right? And you two are part of my value system, facing him. Okay, so your task today is, you are my values, all right? So your task today is keep me on that direction because I need to go there, right? So if I'm trying to drift, no, you're going to keep me going into that direction, all right? So I'm going this way, you're keeping me over. There is a cliff over there, and then I'm trying to go to the cliff, but my value system is keeping me on the way. And then I go to the unknown over there. Oh, I was distracted. It looks fun. The drum set, it looks fun there. But he's keeping me on my way to success. So let's do it on the other way. I'm trying to, my value system keeps me on my way to success. On your way to success. Now, if you don't have a value system, let's say there is not a value system, and I'm going to close my eyes, and then I'm going like, no, I don't have values. I don't have values. And there you go. You're going to fall in a cliff. There you go. You're going to fall and hit something on the way. And that's exactly how life works. The core value system keeps you on your way to your vision, to the success. All right? And passion is the fuel of that vision. Thank you, guys. I believe everybody here got that, right? So, look, I want to read a short story. I printed it out, okay? Okay, it's just one page, okay? And this is from the Bible, believe it or not. The thing is that, do you see these letters? Do you see these letters? All right, so I took it from here and put it here because the letters are better, right? Okay, Jeremiah chapter 35. This is such a fun story. I mean, I loved it, and it talked to my life. I hope it talks to your life too. Okay, this is the message the Lord gave Jeremiah when Jehoiakim, son of Josiah, was king of Judah. All right. The Lord told something to the prophet. Oh, okay. Go to the settlement where the families of the Rechabites live and invite them to the Lord's temple. Take them into one of the inner rooms and offer them some wine. So this is the prophet is telling, this is God telling the prophet, okay, go to the camps. Bring this family. It's a big family of Rechabites. Invite them into the temple and then serve them something to drink. In this case, particularly wine. So I took them to the temple. Then he says, so I went to see Jaazaniah, son of Jeremiah, and grandson of Habaziniah, and all his brothers and sons, representing all the Rechabite family. So all the Rechabite family was there. All right? They brought them to represent all the family. And then Jeremiah says, I took them to the temple, and we went into the room assigned to the sons of Hanan, son of Iglaliah, a man of God. This room was located next to the one used by the temple officials. So they were making a very big, it's like you go to the White House and they receive you in one of the rooms over there, and they're like, serving you stuff, and what do you want? What do you need? This is kind of like that because they were treating them so importantly. So it says here, directly above the room of Maaseiah, son of Shallum, the temple gatekeeper. So it was very important people here. And they were all attending this family of Rechabites. Verse 5. And then it says, the prophet, I set cups and jugs of wine before them and invited them to have a drink. So they put the wine, they put the whole thing. There is a big ceremonial thing happening in a very important place. Oh my God, it's the temple of Israel. It's the more important place of the whole nation. And they put the things, and I want you to read verse 6 to see what happened. Verse 6. Are you following me with the whole chapter of Jeremiah 35? Jeremiah 35 is the whole chapter. And then I need you to put verse 6. I'm reading New Living Translation. But they refuse. We won't drink wine because our ancestors, Jehonadab, son of Rechab, gave us this command: you and your descendants must never drink wine. You know, we have a culture of, then why? It's not fair. Why? No, it is not fair. Why I can't not do it? Why? These guys responded so clearly and so easily. And you know what's the result of that? They had a core value system on their family. And anything that comes against that core value system, it's a no-no. But they had it. What happened if they didn't have it? What happened if it was not a set of core values there, and then they will have to make a decision on the spot? And that's a big problem. Because one of them will say, well, should we? And the other one will be like, I would say no. And the other one will be like, well, maybe. I mean, what can happen? And then between all of them will be like a democracy. And they will say, oh no, let's vote on it. You know, and then they will make the decision based on whatever the willpower of everybody. You know what I call that? Peer pressure. Oh, try this, try that, do this, do that. But why not? Why your parents don't let you do that? I mean, this is normal, you know, everybody does it. But these guys in verse 6 say, an ancestor gave me the command. And then verse 7, and do not build houses or plant crops or vineyards, but always live in tents. They were also living in tents, following a command. And then, because of this, you will live long, good lives in the land. And that was a promise. It was a set of core values plus a promise. Okay, verse 8. So we have obeyed him on all these things. We have obeyed him in all these things. And then we have never had a drink of wine to this day, nor have our wives, our sons, or our daughters. The whole family had a core set of values. And then he says, we haven't built houses or owned vineyards or farms or planted crops. We have lived in tents and have fully obeyed all the commands of Jehonadab, our ancestor. But when King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon attacked this country, we were afraid of the Babylonian and Syrian armies, so we decided to move to Jerusalem. That's why we're here. In verse 12, then the Lord gave this message to Jeremiah. Pay attention. When God speaks, pay attention. All right? Are you paying attention to this? Verse 13. This is what the Lord of heaven armies, the God of Israel, says. Go and say to the people in Judah and Jerusalem, come and learn a lesson about how to obey me. Verse 14. The Rechabites do not drink wine to this day because their ancestor Jehonadab told them not to. But I have spoken to you again and again, and you refuse to obey me. Time after time I sent you prophets who told you, turn from your wicked ways and start doing the things right. Stop worshiping other gods so that you might live in peace here in the land I have given you to you and your ancestors. But you will not listen to me or obey me. The descendants of Jehonadab, son of Rechab, have obeyed me, their ancestor completely, but you have refused to listen to me. Therefore, this is what the Lord God of heaven's armies, The God of Israel says, because you refuse to listen to answer when I call, I will send upon Judah and Jerusalem disaster, and as I have threatened. Then Jeremiah turned to the Rechabites, and look, the obedience and the core set of values of the Rechabites brought them a word from God. And he says, this is what the Lord of heaven armies, the God of Israel, says. You have obeyed your ancestor Jehonadab in every respect, following all his instructions. Therefore, this is what the Lord of heaven armies, the God of Israel, says. Jehonadab, son of Rechab, will always have descendants who will serve me. What a promise. Just because they obeyed and they had a core value system. So, why are we talking about this? Because we need to find purpose. And to find purpose, I recommend, this is my recommendation. There is not an order on the Bible. This is my recommendation. Begin finding a core value system. Begin finding what are your values. What do you value the most? You know, I believe every Christian, when it comes to Christ, begins changing his priorities. After you change your priorities, your life changes. Let me tell you about me. My first priority in life was work. My second priority in life was my job. The third priority in life was keeping that job. The fourth priority was work like crazy. The fifth priority was like work more than anybody else. Then, like on the sixth place, there come the amigotes. I call them the friends, like the series. I don't know if you have seen the series. I don't believe there is somebody that hasn't seen at least a chapter, because all the other ones are watching the thing. But there come the friends between, marks. So, and then there came my daughters, and then maybe my family, my mom, maybe my wife. After all that, so I changed the value system. And this is what ended up being. Let me give it to you. First place, the first priority in your life ought to be your relationship with God. Without that priority in place, you're going nowhere. Okay, John 15, 4-5. New International Version says, remain in me and I will remain in you. I am the vine, you are the branch. If a man remains in me and I in him, he will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. Tell somebody close to you, without God, you can do nothing, my friend. Now, there's people that try and they're like, do things, whatever. But at the end, everything depends on God. So, the second place on your priorities should be your husband. So, singles that are here, raise your hands, the singles. No, don't raise your hands, the singles. All the single people that is here. Even though you're single, your second priority in life is still your husband. It's already alive. Or your wife. Or let's call it your spouse. All right? So, my relationship with God, my spouse. Two big priorities in life. So, if you're single, but you are already 18, 20, 22, 24, I don't know, your spouse, it's already alive and walking on this earth. So first thing, if you make him a priority or if you make her a priority, keep yourself for her. If you're a man. Don't try this one and that one and that one and that one. We come to the example of the little glass of water, of their little apple, I can give you an apple and start there, and then everybody will have to bite the same thing. Will you bite it when it's coming to you, already all messed up? No, nobody wants to do that. So, what if you are a woman, single woman? Okay, you ought to keep for yourself, for God, and wait for your husband. And you know what? Don't give him wine before the marriage. Because if you give him wine before the marriage, he can find wine everywhere else. So if you do that, then you're not obeying what the Bible says, then the outcome is unknown. Say with me, unknown. We don't know. Now, if you keep it like the Rechabites, you keep it like that, then the outcome is that you will be a happy marriage, you will succeed in your marriage, and you will have many descendants in life. That's it. All right. So let's continue with this, okay? God, spouse. I'm taking too long, right? Third, your children. Your children. So single parents that are here, single women and men, ladies and gentlemen that are single here, your children are the third most important thing. So how are you preparing yourself for when they come? What are you learning for when they come? How are you training for when they come? I'm going to leave it like that. The fourth, your life message to the world, your testimony as a family. I'm applying this to the family. I can give you in a personal level, but today is about family. Your personal message as a family. What is that message saying to the world? What is the people watching when they watch you? What is your family telling to your neighbors, to your friends, to your co-workers? What is the family saying? So we have a testimony to the world. And then your ministry or business and the rest of your family come after that. All right? And let me tell you something, and this is for social networks, if you can print it out. Vision creates passion. If there is no passion, that's a vision problem. And now, hear this. If you have the first three priorities set, God will help you on the other ones. But the first priorities are on you. The first three are on you. God will help you with your testimony ministry, business, with the rest of the relationships, with your friends, with everything else. God will help you. But it's up to you to have a priority with the relationship with God and to have a very good relationship with your husband. If you still don't have it, then prepare for it, train for it, learn. And then the other, talking about family, is a relationship with your children. So let's find this family purpose through a core set of values. I wrote a very long list. What I'll do is I'm going to post it on the invitation for today's message for this weekend. I don't know. Everybody has Facebook here? Everybody? Okay, I'm expecting a like today, all right? So I'm going to post on the invitation for this Sunday, I'm going to post all the values that I have, found that you can pick some of them and then try to make up your core set of values, all right? I promise I'm going to post it. If you ask me or send me an email, I can email them back to you. But, there are a lot, so I don't want to start like reading them all, but I do have some here: accountability, good attitude, authenticity, character, collaboration, compassion, confidence, courage, gentleness, godliness, grace, honor, hope, humility, humor, smile, leadership, learning, mercy, obedience, purity, reliability, respect, sacrifice, steadfastness, stewardship, transparency, trustworthiness, wisdom, worship. I mean, and there's a lot more, so I'm going to pause them so you can go in your own time and see which ones are the ones that, create waves in your heart. And then you pick those, and then you make your core value system. Once you make your core value system, then you need to, once you write them out, then you will come and try to write the purpose of your family and your own purpose per se. So, first step is select the values you will apply to you. If you're single, then don't do step 2, which is compare them with your spouse, because they might be. But if you're married, each of you will make them, and then we'll compare. And then you will single out the ones that are repeated. Then you just keep one, and that's it. And then you will talk to your children and see which values they have, and then you will put all of them together, and then you will narrow it to the more important 7 to 10. That's my recommendation. Does that seem like a fun thing, like a fun proposition? That's a way to get started with your purpose. Find your core value system. Why is it important to have the core value system set? So you don't confuse your core value system with your purpose, because some people confuse values with purpose. Let me explain to you. I'm pretty sure you're very interested in this, because you're like, I have a lot of young people here in this audience. Now, look at this. Some people might think, okay, let's say one of my values, I want to rescue. No, the mission of, or vision, they say, my vision is to rescue children from the street. And then they're like, but why is that why do you think that's your vision in life? And no, because I was abandoned and I'm a adopted child, and I think I need to do that. Well, that's an issue that you need to resolve, but that is mingling and mixing up with your vision, but in reality it's a value. Protect. One of your core values then will be to protect the weak. You know what I mean? So, to play with these things and set your core values. And very important, do not confuse your values with your vision. Do not mix them together, because they're not the same. One thing is the vision for your life, which is the ultimate goal, the ultimate success, and then the values are the ones that will keep you on the way. We already saw the example. We already saw the Rechabites. So that's why I'm so for the values. Many things in my life, I wouldn't have to suffer or survive if I would have set my core value system better. I didn't have it. I ended up in jail. I ended up losing millions of very high amounts of money. I ended up suffering. I ended up doing the wrong things because I didn't have a core set of values. So the earliest in your life that you set them and you commit to the core set, then you will not go away from it. And when somebody invites you to the jug of wine, you will say, no, you know what? That's not on my value system. But you have to already have it. But if we go in life without a core value system, we're weak, we're vulnerable. to anybody, to any philosophy, to any belief, to any temptation, to any trap from the enemy. We're vulnerable. So, okay, let me advance. We just have like 10 more minutes. Okay, so next, after you have set your values, let me tell you something before continuing with the vision. If you only have the values, you'll get somewhere. You will eventually get somewhere. But we ought to write our vision too. Habakkuk chapter 2. This is what it says. Then the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain on tablets. You have tablets, you have phones. You have to make your vision plain on your devices that he may run who reads it. So, it's very important to write all this. First we find it, then we write it. Third, we live it. But you cannot go from find it to live it. You need to write it down. You need to put it on your mirror. You need to put it on your books, on your computer, on the screensaver of your phone. You ought to have it in line so you are reminded every day where you're going. Are you with me, people, today? All right. So vision, it doesn't have to be perfect. Sometimes you might wonder for months and months and months. Pray to the Lord and ask Him to give you a vision for your life and write down. Just write it. Don't try to make it perfect. Don't try to make the ultimate vision. No, just write down, and then it will be perfected over time. It will be changed over time, And then we need, after you have let's say you wrote the vision, then you need to write your mission statement. And then the mission statement is, how will you get to the vision? How? Okay? The big why is your purpose. The vision comes from God. This is where you want to be eventually. The values will keep you on the route to get there, right? Your values will keep you on the route to get there. And your mission is how to get there. So, how do you write your mission? Well, you divide it into steps. I'll be a very disciplined guy which will go to the university and will graduate on the engineering faculty or on the medical faculty. And then you keep going, and while I'm on the university, I'll keep myself concentrated on what I need to do, and I will not deviate from my purpose, even though friends and other people try to. That's very good. And then you keep going, and you keep going, and then you will have a how to get to your vision, and then you will be finding a purpose. But we need to write it down. And then let's say we wrote the vision, we wrote the mission. Let's say we already done that. Now we need to live it out. And this is the more difficult part, but it's the practical part, to live that. If you find yourself that you wrote something too unattainable, then you have to change your mission and, put difficult goals in your life. You need to make goals, little steps. Tell somebody close to you, little steps. Little steps. Little steps. I don't know if there is a saying, but in Spanish there is a saying that says, little bite by little bite, the ant ate the elephant. I don't know if it makes sense in English, but By little bite by little bite, a little bite by little bite, a little step by a little step. But you need to write the little steps. If you don't write them, then time will go by, and a year goes on, 2 years goes on, and you're like nowhere. But you make, and then you say, okay, first I'm going to graduate on this specialty. Then how do I do that? Okay, first I need to apply on this university, on this college. Little step. Don't think anything else. Oh, I already applied. Okay, now I need to select my classes. Okay. Don't write anything else. No, select the classes. Now I need to get A's on them. And that's a very difficult one, right? But you can make it with the help of the Lord. So, I don't know, did everything we talked about this morning make sense to you? Do you think it will help you in your life? To have a family vision. You find a purpose. This is so basic in our church. We see this in it's not in 101. It's on the second one, on the second level of the discipleship school. Second level. We start with this, okay? The importance of having a vision, a mission, a set of values, a purpose, and a strategy together. The strategy is where you put the goals and the little steps that you're going to do. We already have it as a church. We had this for like 12 years of a church. And then I see people that don't know what to do in life. And then I see them and I say, oh, they haven't been in our discipleship classes. They haven't received the discipleship classes. They're missing out. And that's why it's so important to get the discipleship classes for the basic training. It's like in the military. They give you a basic training and everything. Now, let me ask you something. How many of you are leaders of the church right here that are leaders? Okay. Is your people, all your people know this that we talked about? Then you need to worry about, does all my people know how to really make life happen? How to really make life, how to really be a success in life? If not, then you worry about it. And try to discipleship them and teach them these things. Because you know what? This is not some religious class like we received on Catholic school, This is life material for you to succeed in life. And that's why it's important to talk about it. And that's why we will be starting this next semester. And we're going to be pushing a little bit, into get you trained. Because this training is not just religious training. This is not religious training. This is life training for you to succeed. Let me close with this. Let me read the vision, mission, and purpose statement of Paul. This is so awesome. I'm like so challenged by this life statement of this guy, bro. It's incredible. 2 Timothy, the last part. It's a 2 Timothy chapter 4. I'm going to read to you verse 6 and 7. You can stand up if you want. 2 Timothy chapter 4. I want you to read with me verse 6 and 7. This is what it says. I believe I do have a New Living Translation, or I do have something else. As for me, read it with me. Put your right hand on your heart. As for me, my life has already been poured out as an offering to God. Oh my God. The whole life, he decided that his vision, his success in life would be poured out his life as an offering to God. And he says, the time of my death is near. And now see the closing statement. Read it with me. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race, and I have remained faithful. Why don't we pray about this? Why don't we pray for our life and for our families?